Okay guys, so it's time for another devlog. A lot has changed. I've actually rebuilt the game. I've changed out the character core from TPSK to ATPS. Let's jump straight into it. Okay guys, so the first major change is we've actually got a realistic map now. Now we've actually got a city map. I've also got a rural map, I'll show you in a second, and also a suburban map over there. But this is mainly just so we have a better place to showcase and develop the game. But mainly we also need a decent map for the beta stages. So this is the actual map that you're going to be playing in the beta stages for the game. Now as you can see, I've got a lot of props down. We've actually got a police station. We've got a big bank, and we've also got a convenience store. There's also like a garage here where a mechanic garage, and I've also just placed down some skyscrapers just to sort of fill in the landscape a bit. We've actually got a construction site here and also a construction site over there. So there's also a rural map. I'll jump over there and show you it. Okay, so we've also got a rural map. Now this is going to be filled out, with farmland and nature areas and stuff like that. But I'm thinking about making the central town location here. So this is pretty much what the map's going to look like, the final map. I'm actually planning on making it a rural-based map. So there's going to be a lot of rural areas and small towns, and in between each town there's going to be big nature areas. But I wanted to use this map also so we can actually start prototyping out the rural towns and stuff like that. So there's also a suburban map, so I'll jump over and show you that. Okay, so this is the suburban map. Now this is where all the houses are going to be located. So this is going to be filled up with all houses and potentially a small town somewhere here maybe, or somewhere over there. But you're going to be able to travel from each map to each map sort of thing. You're going to be able to travel from the city over to the suburb map, and then from the suburb map over to the rural area. So this is just mainly so we can start prototyping some housing systems, potentially purchasing houses. And I'm even thinking about making it so you can actually purchase interior and sort of place your own interior objects like furniture and stuff like that inside your houses. So let me know what you think of that. Okay, so we've got a much more realistic police system now. So as you can see, we've got a very detailed police department. But instead of lockers, you're gonna be able to clock on and off at the front desk just like this. So at will you'll be able to clock on and off as a police officer. So you can turn from a civilian into a police officer. There's access to the cells. I'll show you in a second. But there's now a police armory with a menu. So police officers are going to be able to come and get free weapons. So this doesn't really cost anything. That's sort of a little perk for the police officers. I thought was good. So instead of having to buy your weapons and ammo, you can actually come here and actually get some free weapons. So there's also cell door access. Obviously police officers are only going to be able to access the armory and the cells, but this is where you can sort of be able to put players in and out of cells. So that's something I wanted to show you there. But there's also something out the back, so let me run down there. Okay, so there's now a realistic shooting range for police officers. It's located out the back of the police department. So this is just, somewhere where you can come and practice your aiming sort of thing. These targets actually pop back up, but I thought this was a nice little addition just so you can, practice your aiming and shooting and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. Okay, so general stores are a lot more detailed, as you can see. But there's now, general store menus, which are a lot more better than they were before, where you can actually buy stuff like a laptop to be able to do bank heists. I'll show you that in a second. But this guy can be held up at gunpoint. So pretty much all you got to do is pretty much aim at him, and he'll start to panic and actually empty out the till. So there's two different scenarios that could happen. It'll either be successful and he'll throw the money on the table, or it'll be failed and he'll actually pull out a gun to defend himself. So as you can see, this time he's thrown some money on the table. Okay, so as you can see, we've actually got a very detailed bank now. So this interior is actually really cool. There is a banking system. I'll show you that down there in a second. But there's also, ATM versions of it. Obviously, you just won't be able to take out loans or take out debt like that. But there's the standard deposit, withdrawal, transfer and stuff like that. So you can transfer money to other players. But I'll show you pretty much the banking system. So for the branches, obviously, to be able to get loans and pay off debt, you're going to actually have to to come into the branch and stuff like that. So there's actually loans, different types of loans. We've got a budget loan, an economy loan, investment loan, and a business loan. So pretty much the interest is 12.5%, and you know, I think you need a deposit of 12,500, as you can see there, to be able to get the loan. So that's sort of like a it's sort of like a credit check. But as you can see, we've got a bank teller there which can actually be held up at gunpoint. So this is a lot more realistic now. So as you can see, he's going to actually press a button underneath the table and give me access through this security door, and that actually gives you access to the back of the bank. So once you're in the back of the bank, you're going to have to run down to the basement where the actual vault is. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to actually come up to this password terminal, and you're going to have to have a laptop in your inventory, obviously, but then you're going to have to actually try and crack the password by guessing the password. So as you can see, like pretty much this is what I worked out is the best way to do it, or the quickest way to do it. So let's see how long it takes. So as you can see, I've actually cracked the vault. So what you're going to have to do, once you're in here, you're going to have to start looting the cash into a backpack, just like this. So as you can see, I've actually made 75 grand, and I've actually got a backpack on now, and I need to be able to evade arrest for 5 minutes to be able to pocket the money. That just makes bank heists a little bit more harder than general store robberies and stuff like that. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Okay, so another major change is I've actually changed out the character core from TPSK, I'll show you on screen now, over to ATPS, which is actually fully replicated. So as you can see, we've got different guns and stuff like that. I'll show you, here's the shotgun, here's the AR-15, and here is the submachine gun. There's actually more weapons, but I've actually added locomotion to ATPS. So we've actually got crouching. So we've got crouching, we've also got vaulting. I'll show you here. So if I jump up like that, we've got that. We've got vaulting. We've also got mantling as well. So let me just jump up to here. I should be able to jump straight up to there. And we've also got rolling when you jump from high areas like that. So this is it's not as good or as realistic as TPSK, but TPSK actually wasn't replicated, and it would have been really, really hard to sort of try and replicate TPSK because it's sort of built to be single player. But as I said, ATPS is replicated. Okay guys, so some future plans that I have is actually a weed system. So there's going to be a drug dealing NPC that we might put in an alleyway or somewhere random like that, where you actually have to go to the drug dealer and purchase some seeds. Then you're going to have to actually take those seeds to like a grass area where you can plant them, and obviously you're going to have to choose a location where other players are not going to be able to find your weed plants, because they're going to be able to steal them. And once they grow, there's going to be stages. So they're going to start out as a dirt pile with planted seeds, and then they're going to grow into baby plants and then into adult plants, and that's pretty much when you want to harvest them, once they're in the adult stage. But if you leave them too long, they're actually going to turn into dead plants, and once they start dying, you won't get as much weed out of the plant, and then you're going to actually have to process them somewhere potentially, and then go back to the drug dealer and actually sell the weed back to the drug dealer. So that's going to be one of many illegal jobs. Let me know what you think in the comments of that. But some other things I plan to do is actually making the inventory system so you can actually loot other players. So there's going to be another corpse inventory side here, where you're going to be able to drag the players' items from their inventory over to your inventory. So those are a couple of the plans I've got. There's going to be a lot more other stuff coming, but that's pretty much where we are for this devlog, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.